Hey Math Kids, today we're going to talk about exponential equations, and we're just going to jump right in and start with an example. Okay, so this is solve for x, and so what we want to do is we want to rewrite 16 as something base 2, and so that would be 2 to the 4th, because 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. And since everything on the left is the same as everything on the right except for x and 4, that means that x equals 4, because they must equal the same thing. Okay, let's try another one. 3 to the x plus 2 equals 1 over 27. So once again, we are going to try to write the thing on the right as base 3. Now we could write 27 as 3 to the 3, but since it's on the bottom and we want to move it up top, we make it negative. And so what happens here, we have a base 3, and so this thing must equal this thing. So x plus 2 equals negative 3. Just do a little bit of algebra, and x must equal negative 5. Okay, let's continue with that. So we have 4 to the x equals 8. Now there's no way to write 8 as a base 4, but we could write 4 as a base 2, and we could write 8 as a base 2. Since we have base 2, this thing must equal this thing. So 2x equals 3, divide by 2, and x equals 3 halves. Okay. Now we have 9 to the x minus 2 equals 1/3. So we want to write 9 as a base 3. We want to write this as a base 3. So we're going to say 3 squared to the x minus 2 equals 3 to the negative 1, because we want to bring that up top. Okay. Now, the rule is to multiply exponents. So we have 3 to the 2x minus 4 equals 3 to the negative 1. Base 3. So this thing must equal this thing. 2x minus 4 equals negative 1. We just continue with that algebra. 2x equals 3. Divide by 2. And so x also equals 3 halves. That's interesting. They both equal the same thing. Alright, we just have one more example. So we have 4 to the x plus 2 to the x minus 20 equals 0. So all of our exponential pieces we want to write with the same base. And so I'm going to change this to 2 squared to the x, 2 to the x, like that. If we multiply that out, we get 2 to the 2x plus 2 to the x minus 20 equals 10. We're going to use u substitution like we did in a previous video. So u is equal to 2x, this piece. And so that would be u squared, this one, plus u minus 20. We can use t factoring, I think. Let's try it. Okay, 4 and 5 works if we do a negative 4. So u minus 4, u plus 5. And the final step is to just plug this back in. So we get 2 to the x minus 4. And then 2 to the x plus 5. And this is still equal to 0. And we want to actually solve for x. So we're going to get 2 to the x minus 4 equals 0, 2 to the x plus 5 equals 0. And then we just need to go through the algebra on that. So we add 4, 2 to the x equals 4. We're going to write 4 as something with a base 2. So 2 to the x equals 2 squared. So this must equal this. So x equals 2. Over here, we subtract 5. 2 to the x equals negative 5. And there's no way that this will be a negative number. Because even if we plug in like a negative 1, that would just be 1/2. If we plug in a negative 2, it would be 1/4. There's no way to make this negative, so we throw out that answer, and so the only answer is x equals 2. Okay, if you need additional help, please come to Math Lab. Until then, calculator.